Now, we should just take a moment to reflect on how extraordinary it is for Victoria to be in this position today and for us to be reporting no new coronavirus cases over the past 28 days. There were so many people thinking a couple of months ago, in the depths of that terrible second wave of the virus in Victoria, that this was just not going to be possible, let alone in the time frame that it's happened. Reporter Elias Kluwer joins us now from Melbourne. Elias, g'day. So just take us through what this means.
Good morning to you, Joe. Well, it means that there's been 2 full life cycles of the virus, and it's effectively epidemiological elimination, which, as you say, is extraordinary given cases were in the 700s not too long ago. And we, of course, remember that at one of Daniel Andrews, or many of Daniel Andrews' daily press conferences, he was asked consistently whether he thought that it was possible that Victoria could reach one day of no cases, let alone 28 in a row. So I think Victorians collectively feel a sense of achievement. The Premier has actually just spoken at a Parliamentary Estimates Committee hearing, which is on the second wave of infections, but he said Victorians should be very proud. I think that is the feeling here. People are proud of the sacrifices they've made of over 100 days of harsh lockdowns and restrictions. I guess the next question is, though, Joe, what the easing of restrictions will be. In September, on September the 6th, the original roadmap was handed down by the Andrews government. It said that 28 days of no cases, no active cases and no outbreaks of concern anywhere across Australia meant Victoria had reached COVID normal, so there would essentially be no restrictions in most settings. Now it seems to be following a different model, that is the COVID-safe summer, where there is still likely to be restrictions, I guess, dependent on that health advice. The Premier also says he still believes there is some virus out there, perhaps some asymptomatic cases. Of course, yesterday there was virus fragments picked up at a wastewater site in the northern suburbs of Geelong. So it might be the case, but the Chief Health Officer is confident that community transmission has effectively been eliminated, and I guess this is just an opportunity for Victorians to reflect and, I guess, celebrate on this beautiful day.
Yeah. Elias, there have been a couple of pieces written in the past, and over the past couple of months, saying it's going to take 10 years for Victoria, for Melbourne in particular, to get back to what it was because of the devastating impact of that. But at least does it feel today, because you've got this, you've reached this milestone, that maybe those predictions are a little too dire, and there's a sense that things in Victoria are going to get back to what they were a lot quicker than 10 years?
Well, I think with every milestone reached, Joe, there is a sense of optimism within the community. As you mentioned, there was a sense of, I guess, hopelessness towards the end of lockdown. People were still happy to follow the rules, but there was a sense that, yes, perhaps when will this end, and the economic effects of it with businesses shut down for such extended periods of time, what the after effects would be. And there has been commentary around it taking potentially a decade. We saw in the last state budget handed down this week from the Andrews government that it does seem as if they are planning for long term to try and rebuild this economy with these massive infrastructure projects to try and pump in cash to that economy, and these sort of big scale projects trying to create thousands and thousands of jobs. So, I mean, it looks as if government is sort of playing the long game, as it were, but at the moment, as it stands now, there's smiles on people's faces and there is that sense of optimism in the community.
Yeah. And Elias, there have been a couple of inquiries into what happened in Victoria with how that second wave got started. There's a parliamentary inquiry and then the more broader official inquiry. What's happening with them?
So the hotel quarantine inquiry has its last day of hearings today. This will just be a procedural hearing around the evidence that was provided after final submissions were handed down. Of course, we know the Chief Health Officer, the Police Minister, the Premier himself, the most senior bureaucrat within government who's since left government, were all asked to provide additional statements to the inquiry. So we've got the last hearing today, which will involve the Counsel Assisting Tony Neal and Jennifer Coate, who's chairing this inquiry. That report isn't due until the end of December. We've also got the Parliamentary Estimates Committee hearing today on the second wave of infections. The Premier Daniel Andrews is giving evidence today. It's expected he'll be grilled there on potentially what the easing of restrictions will be, but also what the hotel quarantine program, this new reset hotel quarantine program, will look like. Now, he has given some indication as to what it will be. He said yesterday that it's likely to follow a hot hotels model. In other words, people will be tested before they enter Victoria. Then they'll have to, if they test positive, they'll have to quarantine in a hotel where other infected patients are. This idea of that was recommended by the Cote inquiry of people quarantining at home has been taken off the table because it hasn't been agreed upon by National Cabinet.
Okay, Elias Clue reporting there in Melbourne.